This is very key for us to understand that. We don't go to the extreme one way nor to the other way. We are the Ummatan Wasatan, which is we are the nation which is balanced. And without balance, then we're not Muslims anymore. We're just something weird. We have to be balanced. Another point of Islam. There's so many things we say Islam is. One time I was with Dr. Zakir Naik in India, and I did 30 television shows for him. All of them on one subject, facets of Islam. They haven't started showing that series yet, so kind of keep your eyes open for that. But one of the facets of Islam is to know, and I was fascinated, very fascinated with this, is to know that all of the things that we do every day are also a part of Islam. Everything you do is a part of Islam and can be rewarded or punished. Look at this. If I brush my teeth, I can get a reward from Allah. Is that true? If I brush my teeth, just brush my teeth, I get reward. Why? Because Prophet ﷺ used to brush his teeth and tell us to do this. This was a sunnah. If I use a miswak stick, I get even more reward to go to the trouble to get that and clean my teeth. But I get other benefits too. My teeth are clean. It removes tartar and plaque without destroying the enamel. And many dentists are fascinated when I tell them that. They say, really? I say, yes. Removes the plaque. It removes this buildup, the tartar, but doesn't damage the enamel. And it makes your gums better. It removes diseases of the mouth. And you can use the miswak on the tongue. Yes, it's delicious too, by the way. And removes things that could potentially cause other diseases, and even cleans inside your stomach, all over the lining of your esophagus, all the way down to your stomach. These are things known today. And I can get healthy, have a pretty smile, and get rewards from Allah. Tell me any other religion has that. I can eat food that I like and be rewarded by Allah. Why? Because in Islam, there are things we should not eat. So I don't eat those things. But if I will go to the effort to find the place that sells the food that we do eat, called halal meat, then I get rewarded from Allah. I'm enjoying the food and I'm getting rewarded. Now look at this. After I eat and drink and enjoy all of this, then what? You have to go to the bathroom. You need to go to the toilet. You get reward for going to the toilet in Islam. That's considered an act of worship. Now, I know a non-Muslim would say, what? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? Hold on. In your religion, do you know how to use the toilet? Say, of course, we just go to the toilet. No. Show me where in your religion it teaches you the proper way to use the facility. And they go, what? What are you talking about? Just the other day somebody was saying to me, oh no, this thing about you guys sit down, or I'm a man, I'll just stand up when I want to, this is girly stuff. I said, okay, good. Do what you want to do. But it was 1400 years ago when Rasul came and showed us the way Allah wants us to do these things. And this actually wound up being the way that ultimately saved Europe from total and complete destruction. Because at the time of the Black Plague, the Black Death that was spreading all over Europe, and the people were dying by the thousands. They were dying so fast, they used to say dying like flies. They couldn't bury them. They threw the bodies on top of old wagons and left them for the vultures. They couldn't bury them. There was a plague spreading. Now, at the same time, those people were sending their children to be educated in Spain, Andalus, when it was under the control of the Muslims. Even though some of them came down with a disease, it never did spread amongst the Muslims. And in fact, it was the Muslim doctors and the scholars of Islam that taught them how to properly clean themselves and to deal with plagues according to the teachings of Islam. And it was that teaching that when they took it back, that stopped the problem. And even today, we know that a lot of the scholarly work about medicine, cures, plagues, diseases was established by the Muslims and used up until just very recently when they got microscopes and laboratories and started increasing with more knowledge. But look at this. This comes from what? Knowing about hygiene, which people didn't used to know about. Hygiene. Muslims wash their hands. How many times? How many times? When you do wudu, how many times? 3. And then the mouth and the face, the arms, even the head, and even the feet. And a doctor today here in Chicago open you up and give you brain surgery, give you heart surgery, is not going to wash himself that much. Because he's going to put some booties on his feet and a little cap on his head. We're going to wash everything. And that's just to pray. Is that true? And how many times a day? At least 5 if you're going to do it before Salah. And every time we use the bathroom, and even before we go to bed and when we wake up in the morning, how many times will somebody come and teach us about hygiene? I don't think so. And we're getting rewarded for it. And one little thing before we leave this subject, when people talk about cleaning yourself after the toilet and you use water, and they say, water? Oh, why don't you use paper like normal people? You say, okay, hold on. Okay, before you go any further with your paper story, just hold on. If you went to the front yard and you wanted to pick up the newspaper, and you reached down and you put your hand there, and all of a sudden you realize a dog had been there, and now it's on your hand, are you going to open up the newspaper and wipe it off, or are you going to go to the faucet and wash it off? Which one? And you already know the answer. So why are you using paper and smearing it all over the place? I'm sorry, but it sounds a little rough, but you need to know. Islam has given me a reward even for that, yes or no? Okay? So next, how about this? When a man goes to his wife for intimate relationship, he's rewarded. And when the Prophet, peace be upon him, told the people that, they went, huh? What? One of them, he said, yeah, but I like that. I mean, you know. He said, yes, of course. He said, but we get reward for that. He said, yeah. Why? He said, would you get punished if you went to a woman you're not supposed to be with? He said, yeah. He said, likewise, you'll be rewarded for going to the one you like to be with, your wife. It's legal to you. They said the Sahabi got up and left right away and went home. Yeah. And he gets reward. He's being rewarded by Allah. Now go back and read this verse from Surah Al-Dariyat. Chapter 51, verse 56. Allah said, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. He said, He only created the jinn and human beings for the purpose of worship. And this is the kind of worship it's talking about. It's not just talking about, you know, like this, and dhikr beads, and, you know. No, it's talking about what you're doing in your life. You're getting rewarded by Allah because you're following Islam. Now, did you learn anything tonight? Have we learned anything tonight? Have you got ideas now? Is something you can share with other people? Because guess what? All you need to do is give a message to the people. The other thing the brother said, and I didn't know if he translated it or not, when he mentioned that Rasul Sallallahu said, convey from me, even if it's only one verse of the Quran. Even one ayah of the Quran, you have to share it with other people. Does anybody here knows one ayah of the Quran? Then get out there and get with it. Start sharing it. But understand what it is you're saying. Find out the meaning of these things and then share it with others. Now, would you like to know how we could continue this conversation and just keep going and going and going and going, and it would be real easy for you? Is using our internet websites. I have a series of websites. I heard the brother said 40. Actually, we have now domain names 4,913. So it's a little bit more than 40. Alhamdulillah, it's okay. Well, I do have 40. I also have 50. I also have 60. The number that keeps going. But I will tell you that if I give you a list of just a few of them right now, you won't be able to remember. But I tried to use keywords, not just so the search engines would catch it, but so your brain would catch it. If I want to listen to something, and they said, oh, well, you can go over here, you can go to Arabic recordings of Sheikh so-and-so. And you're going to be, what was the name of that website again? I don't know. How about this? I want to hear Islam. So, hearislam.com. You want to watch some videos, so you go to watchislam.com. If you want to go to the chat, we have chat online. You go there. We have several rooms. Even sisters have rooms on there. Sheikhs are giving live speeches every day of the week. We have somebody on it at a different time. And on weekends, it gets really crowded up. You got a lot of people on there. You can see people making shahada. And it's a chat for Islam, so it would be called Chat Islam. Make sense? Now, if you forget and type Islam chat, it still goes to the same place because we own both of them. If you want to have your own domain, this is a web domain, there is islamdomains.com. So you can go register your own if you want to make your own website. And if you want to go and learn about Dawah, we have something for that. If you want to learn about the Quran, we have something for that. If you want to learn about God, Allah.com, we have for that. Prophet Muhammad, we have one, it's called prophetofislam.com. But you're not going to remember all these when you get home, are you? No. Because you're going to get home and you say, what were those links to Islam? What were those links to Islam? I can't remember those links to Islam. He gave us some links to Islam. Do you remember that? So can you remember the links to Islam? .com. Because that's where we put the list up. So if you want to know about Share Islam, Watch Islam, God, Allah, Prophet of Islam, Chat Islam, Islam tomorrow, Islam always, Islam yesterday, all of those you can find by going to this. Arabic and English, you can use the English you know to find out about the Arabic language. There's a whole course on there, and you can get that too. And then some of the advanced students, you want to get more. You feel like, no, I'm ready to move on. And I encourage you to do that. I want you to do that. So Allah's Quran is, for most of us, allahsquran.com has got everything you need. But there are those who really want to get deep into it. And we set it up so you can do that without completing the Arabic language. You should be learning it now when you use it, but it's a translation of the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, and it's called Q, meaning Quran, tafsir.com. qtafsir.com. How do you spell tafsir in English, though? What if you spell it T-A-F-S-I-R? It'll go to my website. But what if you spell it E-E-R? I own that one too. It'll go to the same website. So don't worry about it. But go to linkstoislam.com and you're going to find a lot of good stuff there. You're going to make it, unless it's within the teaching of Islam. Inshallah. So we have that. Now if I stop right there, that'd be enough, wouldn't it?